The views expressed in the interviews and commentary are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of PPS Holdings Trust, its affiliates, subsidiaries, or employees.
That part of the club thing, because it takes me back to the Stockfel thing.
Yeah.
And on social media, you see a lot of people posting like the milli meals and stuff like that. That's because that's their basic need. That's Stockfel they go for. Then you've got people that post. Oh, did I mention alcohol? I should have just said alcohol. Yes, people that buy alcohol. And then we judge them saying that, why would you put your money into that? It's their Stockfel to say that instead of wasting my money at the end of the year, this is the group of friends that we have and this is what we enjoy in December. We think they're dizzy. At the end of the day, they've been saving. They showed us that they're actually capable of being responsible to save month in and month out. At the end, then they can drink their beverages, and those that want the other stuff like half a sheep, they can get that.
500 liters.
Let me ask this question. If we all agree that the principles of Stockfels are good, why do we not see, why is insurance still a grudge purchase? Because it's exactly the same thing. You put money in, you're going to need it at some point. At some point, your car breaks down. At some point, you forget to switch the stove off when you go on holiday, and you need to claim. Why is it that when we do it for that, do you think we see that as a grudge purchase? But when we're putting money for milli meal or whatever the need is, whether it's a trip to Zanzibar or wigs because there's Stockfels, why is that acceptable?
I've got an answer for that.
Okay.
I've got a great answer for that. And it's simply put, you know that the eventuality of December coming is coming.
Exactly.
So you got, with insurance, it's the probability of it. So you're paying in case something happens. A lot of people are like, I think I'm paying for nothing. Whereas they don't understand, or most people in my group of friends, is that insurance is a contribution by many, but a benefit of a few, which is those that claim. So a lot of people don't take out insurance and they say that I can actually just put my money somewhere, and then when that accident comes, I'll pay for it. Kante. It never
December
happens.
comes.
December
comes.
So it's just that, it's the thinking of, I know December is going to come, so I'll save up for it. And when it comes to insurance, what if I don't get into an accident? But also, you don't think that what if you bump into somebody, or you bump into
Or what if your geyser bursts?
and
And it's those things.
But
we
I think
actually
another
don't
thing
think
is
about.
Stockfels is something we were exposed to growing up. Not all the previous generation of our parents and their parents, they weren't exposed to insurance like we are. So we learn from our parents. So it's not, well, personally for me, it's not something that they educated me about. It's when I grew up, got to understand the importance of it and all these eventualities happening. That's when I saw the need for it. So it's not like Stockfels, you see it with your eyes, you experience it when you eat the food that's being purchased, when you go on the holiday, or you drink the alcohol. Whereas with insurance, it took time for me to learn it because it's not something I grew up with.
I agree.
That's nice. That's a nice point. Thank you for that, guys. I want to ask the audience, does anybody have a question or a lingering point or a comment that you're wondering about your particular Decemberness?
Okay, yeah, I hear you guys talking about these Stockfels and, alcohol and all sorts of things. I think the greatest thing, especially with the December dizziness, is us being actually responsible. Sometimes we all, in the name of covering ourselves, we get too irresponsible because I've got it covered. So there's also a consumer responsibility that we need to also teach as well. Because in this December dizziness, we'll find ourselves somehow intoxicated. You're supposed to have 2, but you'll have 7 or 12. And now you are claiming for that short term that you already have. And then now they are not paying for it because of negligence. I think it's at the heart of everything that we're talking about there is also covering ourselves as well. To say that, yes, we can have cover for those products, those financial products, but ourselves as well, because somehow we get excited, and maybe somehow we go for those company events, year-end functions. They're giving you 2, but you are staying around there for 7, and then the next thing on your way out there, now that car that already has the cover for the tires and everything that you want to cover is spoiled for you not getting even a claims payout because of your negligence. So those are things that we need to also take into account to say that we have a responsibility. Let's not be part of the dizziness as though we are excited for the sake of being excited, but we have a responsibility. Those things are covered. Let's cover those things that are covered as well. You see.
That's a great point.
So, I heard you speak about Stockfels and saving for food. I've often reflected on this and realized that our grandparents were saving for food because they didn't have the money on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
But when we, or rather you as young people, are following that, why would you? Whereas you could be saving as a group to buy bigger things. You know, imagine a group of 15 people saving 1,000 rand a month over 5 years. What could you do with that kind of capital? And I think for me, the question is, how are you thinking about these concepts differently so they solve your generation's problems?
Can I try and take the short-term insurance one first? Around covering the covering.
Batu and then Sipene.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it brings me back to what I was saying earlier on, that why do we see insurance as a grudge purchase? Because we don't, in most cases, we don't use it to its full capacity or capabilities. You're not just covered for the accident. A lot of insurers will provide some sort of chauffeur service. If you're going to stay and have 7 drinks, then don't drive.
Yes, yes.
There's a lot of other benefits that are accessible that people don't maybe know about or don't make use of, that makes insurance seem like a grudge purchase. But it's not only for if the accident happens, if this happens, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's those benefits that we need to start talking more about.
Yes.
So that we make other people aware that those things exist, to say, if you go out in the middle of the dizziness and you lose your handbag and you've saved up to buy that expensive designer handbag, your short-term insurance should be there for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're traveling and you're on that plane and you forget your luggage, your insurance should be there
covered.
for that,
Yeah.
you know? So that's something that happens.
Benefits.
It's more likely to happen than the car accident, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we need to also talk about those benefits, to say, beyond paying for the premium for the accident, because it might take 10 years for you to bump someone or someone to bump into you.
Yeah.
But you're most likely to lose your phone, you're most likely to use your handbag, or, you know, in the middle of the dizziness. There's all of those things.
I love that, because
So,
that's
yeah.
what they keep communicating to
Exactly.
us.
So
Selling
let's
the
make-
accident. Everything else, all the other added benefits are the ones that need to be communicated.
Exactly, yeah.
But touching on the topic of Stockfels, I think when it came to our parents and grandparents, you touched on a good point, and everything that was done then was conceptualized based on need and intention for whatever would be a collective need for us. And right now, I feel like the biggest challenge that we have is actually figuring out what are our needs. How do we personalize our needs? Do we know what we actually need? And how do we work towards achieving that? You spoke about doing 1,000 rands for 15 years. That's a long-term goal. What's a short-term goal? What's something that we can save up for the next 6 months? Let's say I want to purchase something for my house or do something at home, and I know I need 10,000 rands, and then I can pull everyone together and find people that have a certain, like a similar need, so that they understand the drive and they understand the importance of us having to actually be intentional and hold each other accountable to this. So the biggest challenge with that question is, do we know what we need, and how do we go about communicating that through our finances? How do we help each other? Because we have different ways of looking at money. We have different ways of how we spend money. So understanding that in my group of friends, one of us is very erratic. They can make decisions right now. And one of us is frugal, and they can hold us to say, actually, let's come back and remember why we're doing this and why we're doing this and what is the actual goal. So we need to actually start having these conversations so much more to understand what we actually need and how we can help each other to that. I actually like that point. We can save up for holidays. We can save up for, I need a phone. Someone else needs another device. We can save up towards that and help each other. It might not be the same thing. It might not that everyone wants to renovate or everyone wants to do this and that. But if we come with a common cause and a common need and actually decide to do something about it and hold each other accountable to that, that'll be quite effective.
We need to first exercise the muscle. I like what you said, that while we're starting long term, we need to start short term.
Yes.
Yeah. See our capabilities before thinking long term. So we need to start exercising the muscle, be it maybe as a group of friends, we want to study. Save towards that as a collective, and then we have registration fees, we have school fees. So whatever the need, like you say, we need to figure out what we actually need and it can be different for every group. I think for our parents it was easy because the collective maybe was food shortage. People were hungry, so they gravitated more towards food. With our generation, it can be different. We don't always have to look at the same thing. But I think there's a lot of influence with our social media that we want to be alike with other people. So it's where we lose the plot that they are doing this, so why don't we try to fit in the mold? But it doesn't work for us. Maybe we want to do something, we want to stay with food, and that's okay. Maybe we want to save for something different, for phones. So we just need to exercise the muscle more.
I think we have another question from P.
I also echo what you said, because I think it's a point that I wanted to bring home in terms of, are insurance companies doing enough to educate, especially the young generation? Because at this point, whenever you think insurance, especially short-term insurance, you're thinking, like you said, I might not be involved in an accident. You know, these are unforeseen circumstances that might not even occur to me. But I'm thinking, as a woman, you know, I've been in an unfortunate situation when I'm driving with kids and I have a puncture. I'm driving, run flat tires, I don't have a spare wheel. So imagine in a situation where I don't have an insurance, where they'll just come and then assist me, tow me, and you have insurance company that even offer you accommodation. So it's benefits like that, that maybe we're just not highlighting enough to the younger generation, to say that, look, it's not just in an event where you are involved in an accident or your vehicle gets stolen, but also in emergencies such as these, where it's life compromising, especially in South Africa, as a young woman. So I think we just need to echo such things enough and give an insurance a different perspective, so that we look at it in a different way, that it's not just me spending money and not getting anything in return. But in instances where should anything happen, I'm with the kids, or there's a break-in, you know. So we just need to paint that as an insurance company. You know.
And you mentioned it in a couple.
That's such a dope point.
Very.
I just wanted to jump in the fact that you mentioned this in the first episode as well, in terms of that. So if you missed that one,
Go watch it.
Definitely.
But the 2 points that are coming from the floor speak to the same thing, like around why we had Stockfels and why we need insurance, is that family structures previously were very different.
Yes.
If you didn't have food, there was always a neighbor or somebody you could go to. And similarly, if you had a puncture or your car was not working, there was some uncle down the road that could help. But we don't have that, and it speaks to what are our needs right now. And often insurance closes that gap, where you don't have an uncle who can come tow you, or you don't have somebody where you are at that point in time who can accommodate you because your car's not working or giving you issues at that point. So I think it's about how we start to frame the conversation around insurance, to put it in the context of people's everyday lives, to say, it's not just money out for an accident. It's you are a single woman with 3 kids and you drive from here to Limpopo for the holidays every year. Who's your guard? You know, your backup on the way. And when we start to frame it in that sense, people start to see it for what it really is. You know, for those instances where you genuinely, like, if I was thinking about it the other day, if I was like, where we live right now and where our family is like an hour's drive. So if anything happened and I needed somebody quickly, the closest people are 60 minutes away. So insurance is the closest person. They could probably send somebody within 10 minutes to get to me. And we don't think about it in that sense.
And they'll definitely answer your call as well.
That's also true. They won't
it could be 2 hours of you trying to get a hold of somebody.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
But you speak in the context of the example you made is somebody who's a mom or who's a dad. But when you're a student, you also need short term. I think the point you're making is that insurance is always thinking the big stuff, your car, your home. But as a student, for example, you have a laptop, you have a phone, you might not have a car, but you're walking around with your laptop, taxi to taxi, which could be, in South Africa, it's a huge risk. So you need to ensure those small things. If you lose your laptop, it comes with earphones, it comes with a charger, it comes with all these nice gadgets that can be insured, a cell phone as well. So
sneakers.
And sneakers as well. And nowadays we're buying expensive sneakers.
Every valuable. For young people, these conversations are helping, because every time I hear your point of view and your story, I'm thinking, oh my God, I have something similar, not exactly the same, but I have something similar that I can. Sneakers, clothes. like thinking that I can insure my watches, my glasses, and these are things that I find really valuable. And losing these things would mean I have to start afresh. I mean, I don't want to have to go and might not find these glasses again. So it's all of those things, and I think this type of setting helps people now, will help young people in the future and in futures to come. Because every time I thought insurance, I thought, oh my God, I don't have a car. I don't have a big house that I need to insure. I thought it's all the big things. Until we started having this conversation, I started thinking, oh, so even my necklaces, very cool, you know?
Yeah.
And this is what we should be doing as young people, breaking down these big conversations to nuggets that we can actually, and it's not about listening to these conversations, the fact that from these conversations, you start having internal dialogues to think, actually. And then you go to your other friend and you have a similar conversation and they something, and then they go to another person, and that's how we spread the fire and not have it in one place and we all come and do like this. No, I take it from my point of view, from my perspective, I give it to people and everyone. It just moves around like this, and we've just covered everything. Just
We've
like
also
that.
learned that you've got really expensive glasses,
Yeah.
expensive shoes.
I'm looking
And the
at
necklaces.
I'm looking at them now. Okay, team. So, did we cover everything?
Did we cover everything?
Did we?
Yeah, I think we did.
I think we
I think we did.
we covered it.
Ready for December.
Awesome.